This episode is brought to you by Lone Wolf Paintball. They are an amazing online supplier and have been around since the beginning of the game as Michigan's premier paintball field and paintball supplier since 1987. They are rapidly expanding into the online retail space and supplying everything you need to be the best paintball player you can be. They have got it all. Head over to lonewolfpaintball.com and shop all of your favorite brands. And they also boast amazing customer service and will have this out to you with same-day shipping, which is amazing. It's always nice to know that your stuff is on its way immediately so you can start to use it that very next weekend of play. Check out their YouTube, Lone Wolf Paintball, and their Instagram @LoneWolfPB, and stay up to date with all of their deals and sales. Play the Game podcast is immensely honored to have them on board, and we cannot wait for you guys to check out lonewolfpaintball.com and become a part of their community. This episode of PTG is brought to you by HK Army. HK is an industry leader in high-quality paintball gear, accessories, and lifestyle apparel that was founded in 2007. And we have a tremendous opportunity for you all to be geared up on every level with HK Army custom team gear. Whether you're on the paintball field or in the airsoft arena, take your game to the next level by using code PTG to get 50% off your custom gear design fee. And I don't think y'all heard me out there. That is 50% off, and you will be able to collaborate with a seasoned designer to create custom branded HK Army jerseys, long sleeves, t-shirts, pants, gloves, or headbands for your team with no minimum order quantity. Head on over to hkarmy.com/custom and use code PTG for 50% off on your team's custom gear design fee right now. Let's go. Thank you, HK Army, for everything you do in paintball, in airsoft, and in so many people's lives. We love you. Go check them out. Today's episode of PTG is brought to you by the one and only Trans Labs that brought the world two amazing products. First off, Transfuse, which is a hydration multiplier, and most recently, they just dropped Transcend, which is a nootropic energy formula. No matter what you use, when you choose Trans Labs, you are going to be boosted and you are going to be ready to charge the paintball field and win out there. With Transfuse, that is a premium rapid hydration multiplier and immunity fortifying formula scientifically designed to replenish you at the cellular level. And they use all natural ingredients in this product. We've got zinc, we've got vitamin B6, we've got vitamin C, sodium, potassium, choline, and it is an amazing way to make sure that you're hydrated and prepared to play top-level paintball. When it comes to Transcend, that is a premium nootropic energy formula designed to increase cognitive performance, elevate mood and clarity while supporting long-term brain health, and it's going to leave you feeling great with no crash or jitters. It's one of the only products in the nootropic space backed by research studies to ensure the formula is correct for optimal performance. It is more potent than anything on the market, and it will keep you charged and ready to win out there. I take 1 scoop, but if you're stimulant sensitive, take a half scoop, and if you want that LFG dose to launch to the moon, dump 2 scoops in your drink and you are going to be flying down that paintball field. Comes in 2 delicious flavors, Baja Blast and Skittles Candy for the Transcend. And for the Transfuse, they have 2 new flavors as well, Pineapple Express and Hawaiian Punched. So if you get a chance, head over to translabs.com. That's TRANZLABS.com. Use code PLAYTHEGAME and you'll get 10% off. If you subscribe to a monthly delivery service, you also get 10% off as well. So you could take advantage of 20% off on these products. Head over to translabs.com and give it a go.
What's going on, PTG Nation? Thank you guys so much for tuning into the show. This episode, you already know what it is. We have another absolute banger, but you knew I was going to say that because they're all bangers. Truly, let's be honest. They're all pretty darn good. This episode, though, we have Matt Askren from LVL UP, and sitting down and having my first conversation ever with Matt was really insightful and something I really appreciated. I have a new respect for Matt, very well-spoken, and, just good representation of what that team is. They're the blue-collar ballers that doesn't have a big budget. It's a bunch of friends that have stuck together and are trying to climb their way through the professional division. They've done a fantastic job. This season's been a little rocky, but we definitely dive into that. There's a lot of great things coming out of that camp moving forward. So I think you guys are going to love this episode. And the second half is incredibly special. We have our Moments with Mr. Mouse segment, which is a new segment on PTG. he's going to be on the show quite a bit more, but he gave us the details and all the juice on what happened at practice this weekend between Oliver and Kyle and, all the other commotion that was going on between Dynasty, Diesel, Aftermath, Ironman. It was really a chirpy day, chirpy weekend, I should say. But outside of that, he had some great points and answered a ton of amazing questions. So I think you guys are going to love it. Without further ado, we're going to hop in the show.
That was an insane inside move by Marcelo Margot. Great communication.
And the crowd starts chanting Harmon.
Great shot by all the guys. So Tyler Harmon saved that game.
Came out with 2 wins. Marcelo Margot was on fire.
You know what time it is, PTG world. Thank you so much for tuning in to another amazing episode. This is episode number 196, and we are honored to have none other than Matt Askren from Columbus LVL. And we're super excited to talk to you about your journey through paintball into the pro ranks and everything that you've been doing with LVL and your guys' mission to obviously be at the top of the league. So how's it going, Matt? What's going on, bro?
It's going well. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here tonight.
Yeah. Let everybody know where you're tuning in from.
Yeah, I'm in Mason, Ohio, just a northern suburb of Cincinnati. Just chilling out at the house here. Totally caught by surprise by being invited to be on this show.
What do you mean caught by surprise?
Yeah, I was minding my own business earlier, and suddenly I just got an instant message out of nowhere. I'm just thrilled to be here. Thank you.
Dude.
Well, I got to be completely honest. The main reason we wanted to have you on is because I needed to publicly grill you for stealing our player from New York Wrecking Crew. Shout out to our boy Ian. Super proud of him. Happy that he got a chance to come up and play with you boys. But just kidding. That's all awesome. It's really good stuff. How did he do this weekend?
Ian's fantastic. I've known Ian for several years now. Playing, he's not too far from me. Lives, I believe, in Middletown or somewhere near there, just a couple miles north of me. We played at a local field here down in Cincinnati against each other for a couple years. And he and his class of players, his buddies that he came up with, they were all just very talented. I could see it from early on in his playing career that he had a ton of potential. So I'm not at all surprised to see him rise the ranks like he has. And, he's fitting in with us fantastically. He's good friends with Chase Kramer and myself and most of the team for that matter. As we were trying to figure out what to do in the off season, his name just kept coming up. And it was just kind of always floating around the periphery. Everyone's aware of the potential that he has. And, we just decided that it was time to give Danny and Justin a bit of a break, give the bad guy someone else to shoot at for a change. So, he's been gelling well with us. He's delightful to have on the team. He's a lot of fun, fantastic player. Did really well in the one-on-ones just the other day. And
now what's really well? Did he win the tournament? Did he make it to like a semifinals? How do you guys run those?
Well, I think they had one 2 weeks ago. I wasn't able to be there. I was actually in Houston with my kids, so I wasn't at that practice, which is funny because I'm going to Houston in a few days. So Tyler and I will be shooting at each other then. Yeah. I assume he went really far in the tournament. He didn't win it, but I assume he went really far if I had to guess. And then on Sunday, I'm not sure if he lost any of his one-on-ones. We didn't do a tournament. We played 3 or 4 each at the end of the day, split up into teams. His team won, but I believe he lost one to Justin. He did lose one to Justin, but he did very well. He won most of them.
Hey, congrats, Ian. That's some breaking news right there for the paintball public. That is his introduction to pro paintball right there, and he's going to be telling his story now out there on that pro field. And let that be a message to everybody out there who's hungry to get on that pro field, that if you keep chipping away at it, show up, do the work, make good connections as well, because obviously he got to know you guys, and play hard and show those teams find that local pro team, show them that you have what it takes to eliminate them on the field and eliminate other pros too when you step on the pro field. So just don't ever give up on your dreams, because things like that can happen right there.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. He definitely fits in well with us off the field. We spend a lot of time together off the field, traveling around the country, hotel rooms and all that stuff. So there's no worry there. He's not going to, he's going to add to the experience. And then, on the field, having played with him for several years, a lot of us just clicked with him instantly. And in our decision process, the question was who can we pick up who will be able to come cold off the bench and just come out swinging. Mm-hmm. And we know that Ian's going to really shock people this year.
Hell yeah, Ian, let's go.
Yeah, he's somehow still in the New York Wrecking Crew group chat, and he's been talking a lot of smack. I know we're in the same bracket for the next event. He says he has it circled. So I'm excited to see him out there.
Oh, that's funny, man.
That's one of the coolest things too. Obviously, a lot of the kids that are on that New York team are from the Ohio area. They play out at level. So again, it was kind of a matter of time. But excited what he could do. He's got a lot of skill, a lot of talent. He's hyper aggressive. I think if he can learn to really just kind of hone that in, that's usually the story for hyper aggressive players. And newer players is attackers especially is. They become really dangerous when they learn how to get to those really far spots and then stay alive and just be a thorn in your side, communicate and do all that stuff. And Ian, actually, something that always impressed me from the first practices out with Wrecking Crew is how well he communicates. I don't know if that translated with you guys. Sometimes people are a little intimidated when they're, playing with the pros. They don't communicate the way they do with their normal team, but his communication was always something that I thought was pretty good.
Yeah, his communication is excellent. Not only does he know what to say, but he also knows how to project what he's saying. You can hear him across the field.
Yes.
But also having been playing with us for a long time and with me personally for a long time, I can just look at him and he can just look at me, and we kind of have a little, telepathy going on there.
Sure.
You guys know what I'm talking about. You know what your teammate's going to do. You know what they do. And we've had moments on the field where we're both just like, okay, nothing needs to be said. I know what you're looking at, or, I know you got me, I got you, and stuff like that. So,
the best.
Yeah, he's just gelling so well with communication.
Awesome, dude. Yeah, love to hear it for sure. Excited to see what he could do, and excited for you guys as well. Always been a fan of Level. Dave Pando's a good friend of mine, so like to see you guys do well. This year though has been a little more difficult, it seems, than last year. I feel like you guys had been consistently making positive steps in the right direction. What do you think's been kind of going on this year?
Two things. The first is we went from a 2-week preparation time to a 1-week preparation time. And I have to admit, we kind of shot ourselves in the foot on that one because we were down for the 1-week change.
It was literally 11-9. If you guys would have just voted the other direction.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So our logic when we decided that was a lot of personal, selfish reasons, individual, sure. Myself included. We all have, most of the team has, kids, married, a lot of real life going on. Everyone works a full-time job. We're all very busy people. And then we somehow managed to squeeze professional paintball in the midst of all of that.
Sure.
So when the opportunity came to trim it down, seemingly, we were eager to jump on that. But we miscalculated. All that happens is those teams that can either pull their resources, or if their players have the time available, they just condense their 2-week schedule into 1 week. Exactly. They're still out there hammering it out, and I'm twiddling my thumbs. I'm at work typing away about insurance, and I'm not even thinking about paintball. And it puts me and the rest of the team a step behind when we get to the first practice. So,
dude, I am so happy to hear you. Well, I'm sorry to hear you say that, but it's what I've been saying was going to be the result of this change from the moment that it happened. I'm not sure if you ever listened to the show, but it's been a huge talking point. I think that it ended up doing exactly what the teams that voted for it didn't want it to do, and you know how it is from weekend 1 to weekend 2, I feel like is such a steep learning curve. You go from weekend 1 to weekend 2 in previous practices, right? Where we had the layout for 2 weekends. By weekend 2, you're like really refining things. Well, now we essentially get that weekend 2, and the teams that can't don't, and then you show up to the tournament, and the separation to me is just even bigger. I hope they go back. And they're probably just going to go to complete blind layout, next, which I don't love that at all either, but we'll see.
Yeah, and I know we're not the only ones who have that frustration. I won't name names, but at the Austin event, a player who is, considered one of the best came off the field very frustrated after being knocked out on Sunday, and he turned at me and just gasped and she said, "We either need to go back to 2 weeks or we just need to go to blind." He said, "But this is not working." And I was stunned to hear it, and I was like, "Well," and he's seeing it from the other side, being one of the top players, one of the top pro teams, and he's still venting the same frustration that I have from the bottom. So, it was enlightening.
That's interesting though, right? Because you said they got knocked out early Sunday and it's one of the top teams. So you assume they had the opportunity to train multiple days. So like what isn't working, I wonder, in that sense.
Right. Yeah.
I won't pry for details on teams or anything like that, but that's an interesting one.
Right. And there's just so much that goes into it. I mean, it could be team funds, and it could just be individuals' availability. And, and maybe the truth is somewhere in between. But everyone has their own opinion, their own story on that. So.
Yeah, it's definitely something that we're seeing full force right now with, throughout the rankings. Like LVL is ranked, I think, 17th right now, and that's just not normal for you guys. You guys are definitely a top tier team, in my opinion. It definitely deserve to be in the top 10, in my personal opinion, and better than that even. Like I see that organization in the next season or two being one of those teams in the top 4 fighting it out for tournament wins, because you guys just have such a great depth of talent and a great place to train at as well. Shout out to Pando and the sports park for LVL.
Absolutely.
And everything that you guys have is just it's an ideal situation to have a phenomenal program be birthed out of that. So I am curious to see what's going to happen in regards to the scheduling. If we do go to a blind layout, if we do more time on the field, but I guess time will tell. We'll see here shortly.
Yeah, I mean, we can hope and pray for changes to come, next event or at the end of the year. I mean, they're not going to change it mid-year, right? Like, I'm not even going to go there. But what we can do is adapt and overcome. We recognize now that what we're doing at this current state in the game is not working. So we need to make some changes. So when we go out to Houston, we can't regain 2 more days on the layout, get that extra weekend back per se. But we can at least get 1 day back if everyone picks up an extra PTO day from work, flies down a day early. We're going to spend some time on the field alone and figure out what the meta of the field is, what the optimal way to play the field is and what the nuances are. So we're going to get that back. And that's something that we haven't had for the previous 2 events. We would show up to practice. The other teams would have already had their day. And we'd show them like, oh yeah, there's a corner bunker over there, and there's 3 Doritos on that side. Like we're still like learning what the field even looks like, and these guys have already got plays drawn up, and they know the bounce shots and where the quick draws are, all that stuff. So hopefully with this event we won't be a step behind, and we can be back at our normal pace.
Yeah, I mean, it does come down to with less time on the actual field, it comes down to doing a little bit more of a lot of the extracurricular kind of things. Even scheduling a Zoom meeting when the layout drops so that you guys can all talk and be like, let's at least name the field. This is a thing on Dynasty. It takes us about an hour and a half to name the field because we name it and then we argue about it. And then you guys
argue
it
too?
And then we argue about it. We're like, no, this should be called that. And no, this should be called that. Yeah, but last event it was like this. No, it was like that. I mean, it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So, when we went to the one layout weekend, I was like, okay, guys, we need to have a Zoom meeting Wednesday. Let's get the names put down so we waste no time when we're actually at the field, right? So we can make our field time as productive as possible. We want to be able to go through everything we need to go through at the field. Let's not waste time talking about bunker names, and then in doing that, you've got the Guns Up thing, which is fantastic. Shout out to Guns Up. You can go through and kind of look at lanes, kind of look at bunkers. So you get a lot of the preparation, and this is just a hot tip. All the teams should be doing this. If you're a pro team and you're not doing this, that's honestly on you. I feel like everybody should be able to find 30 minutes at night after work, after you put your kids to bed, whatever it is, to be able to connect with the team and say, hey, here's what we're going to call the bunkers. Let's kind of look at some initial shots. Let's see a few things out, right? It's why not put in that extra little bit of work if you're going to sacrifice the weekend after and then, the 5 days at the event to be unprepared. It just doesn't make sense. Not to me, at least.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we spend a lot of time on the guns up meetings, arguing over the bunker names and all that. We'll come up with all these great ideas and scheme about going up the middle and doing all these funky little plays. And then we'll get to the practice and just throw everything out the window. And then suddenly someone's bitching about what we're calling a bunker. And then it just kind of becomes completely unraveled and undisciplined. Tyler Doviak has stepped into the coaching role this year. He's getting used to what it means to run a team. And
Sure.
I've seen since the Austin event, I think we've all seen it in Tyler, where he has stepped up to regulate the discussions, make sure we're staying on track, progressing them forward, and actually having agendas for the practice. Everything's become extremely more structured, and not following the schedule will be met with punishment for sure. Lots of running. So things haven't gone well for us so far this year, but there are reasons for that, and we've identified those reasons, and we're working to fix them.
And that's the big takeaway for anybody listening is like things might not go your way, and they probably won't more times than not. When you're trying to accomplish a big goal, like winning a professional tournament or winning a divisional tournament, whatever division you're in. So the main takeaway is to break that down, find the problem, and fix that as quickly as you can. If it's even, adding in the Zoom call or a little bit extra work that we're doing, looking at things a little bit differently, we'll turn that ship around and get it going in the right direction. And I do want to talk about Tyler for another second and his coaching style, and kind of see if it was different or the same, pretty close to what you guys were used to, and then just being able to step into that role and rally the troops and keep everybody focused. What's that coaching style like for Tyler as he's taken over the helm of LVL?
Well, at first, Tyler, having been a player on the team, it was just like, oh, it's one of us in control, at the helm, and that's kind of like the level of respect he received. But as we've progressed through the season, more and more respect has been gained, or at least people have been yielding to what he has to say, understanding that he's collecting data from 9 other people, not just you. You can't dominate the conversation. You need to say your piece, get in, get out, and let him make the decision. But with Tyler, everything's a constant discussion. All that being said, everything's a constant discussion. If there's something going on the field, he wants to know about it, whether it be good or bad. He needs the feedback so he can make adjustments, make decisions. So it's been great to have him as a coach. A little background on that: 2 years ago, Robbie Goldsmith wasn't available for our Chicago event. We went and did 4-0 during the prelims and made our first Sunday. And then a year later, again.
You guys got third at that event, right? Was that the event you guys got third at?
No, actually, that was the Florida event the following season, last year, opener last year.
That's right. Yeah, 2022.
And again, a testament to us getting third there is just us like having all that time to learn the field and come up with all kinds of insane contingencies. Like I knew where I wanted to be I knew where I wanted to be for like every possible scenario on the field, and I had it memorized. And I haven't had that leisure yet this year. So hopefully we can get that changed.
Yeah, well, you're going to Wasteland Paintball Park, which is an amazing park, and we're gonna have some fun training out there. If you haven't checked that out, check it out. If you're in the Texas area near Houston, Wasteland's awesome.
But Tyler has brought a lot of his own type of structure to the team. You guys were just talking about the importance of having Skype calls or online discussions and whatnot. Tyler has actually like mandated a weekly call where he wants people to call in and just have a discussion to debrief on the previous practice, even if it was on an off weekend layout. And he's got like a full schedule of those types of meetings set up, and he's holding us accountable, and he's holding himself accountable and Dave accountable as well to do everything we possibly can to right the ship.
There we go.
Absolutely love to hear that. Yeah, I mean, that's the only way, right? You don't have to be one of the top paid players to treat this game like that. And actually, it makes me even more of a fan of you guys. You know, like you said when you first started, everybody has jobs outside of paintball. You know, I don't know what your guys' sponsorship situation is within the game or what you do or don't pay for, but we know it's not like some of the other top teams or even shoot. I feel like a lot of the even top 10 teams have some okay funding, but a lot of the teams don't, and I don't think a lot of players realize that in the divisional ranks. Funding is a tough thing to come by in the pro division. So it makes that sacrifice that much more worth it if you guys are doing all these little things and then you see some rewards from it, right? Like I said earlier, why sacrifice all the time if you're not going to really give it your all and try to win one of these tournaments or multiple?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, our sponsorship has increased over the years. Die has been nothing shy of phenomenal. Pando as well. They do everything they possibly can, and we're extremely grateful for everything that they've done, and Vulcan as well. But with that being said, we are aware that there are teams out there that are, the players are being paid to do this. They can dedicate more of their lives towards this, and therefore, on an individual basis, we are punching upwards to compete, and therefore, as a team, we need to be greater than the sum of our parts, and that is what Level is all about. We're all about figuring out how to play best as a team, and if we can get better as individuals along the way, that's cool too.
Yeah, totally. Always be sharpening it up, got to be the best you possibly can. And like, how did, to kind of circle back on your story, how did this all come to life? Obviously, I think you grew up in Ohio. Is that right?
Yeah, I was born and raised here in Cincinnati.
Nice.
Yeah, if you go out and look at my APPA history, you'll see that I have failed upward. That I really like to play paintball, and I've paid quite the price to do it. But it truly is a lifestyle. It's just something I love to do, and I haven't, I have mild athleticism, mild intelligence, or whatever, but I am passionate about playing, and more importantly, though, I'm passionate about the people I play with. I don't even call Sunday, like if it's not a team practice or an event practice, I call those Sundays that I go out to Level, I call that church. Like I just go out there and I enjoy being in the community, hanging out with other players, a lot of up and comers, watching those players grow, watching those players go from people who can't hold their guns right to people who are shooting me out and pissing me off on a regular basis. So it's been an incredibly humbling experience to rise the ranks like I have, but it hasn't been like the most like tremendous winningest thing I've ever accomplished. But
you're playing pro paintball,
but I am here and I do go toe to toe against guys like yourselves, and I have to earn my keep. So I have to remind myself that constantly.
Well, half the battle, dude, is your humbleness and your eagerness to be passionate about this is half the battle. There's a lot of players that might think there's something and they might not be, and they might not even have the passion that you do or see it the way that you do. So just you being humble and working your ass off and caring about it speaks volumes about your personality and your character as a paintball player, So hats off to you in that regard. And I know it hasn't been an easy journey. So you started playing, I'm sure, when you were younger. And if you don't mind me asking, how old are you right now?
Yeah, is that legal? No, I'm 37. I started playing, I think, when I was 12. It was either 98 or 99.
Nice.
I'm a little hazy on it. Shortly after, so what happened was I live in the second oldest street in my community, and with that, we all have acreage. 3 acres in my backyard, 2 acres in the guy next to me, and some of our lots have woods, and I had a bunch of buddies that wanted to play paintball, and they all bought pump guns and stuff, and we should start playing in our backyard in the woods. Did that for like a year, just goofing around, and then eventually I actually built a full 5-man field out of plywood. Mason, Ohio is the headquarters of Procter and Gamble.
Oh, wow.
We're a community nestled in between 3 highways, so you can like ship to like anywhere in the country at ease. So
Yeah.
it exploded when I was in high school, and it turned in from a rural farm community to like the most hopping suburb in the Midwest. And with that came construction all over the place. So I literally just got my dad to take me around in his truck, and we just dumpster dove, and we just got all this wood, didn't pay a dime for it. And I built a full 5-man field in the backyard, and we would have 20 or so people in the backyard on any given weekend just playing paintball. And we did that for a few years. And then I finally decided to do like my first Young Guns tournament when I was 14. And I actually won that event. It's just a little 3-man. My neighbor and my cousin and I won a Young Guns tournament.
That's major. From all the training you guys were doing out with the plywood.
Right. But during that time, though, I actually had brain surgery. I had a seizure. I cracked my skull on a hard floor. Hematoma formed in my brain, and it was like a ball of blood they had to remove from my brain, because my brain had actually warped around it. So
no way. Oh my God.
So it kind of like changed my entire life. I wanted to go into the military. And I learned that, if I were to go into the military, it would be a thing where I'm stuck behind a desk if I'm permitted at all. So it was like, okay, well, that's out. And, I'm not able to, I was behind in school. I barely graduated on time because of that. And so like the only thing that was like soothing, that like got me through all that was, my friends, my dog, and paintball. It's all I look forward to is just playing paintball. And I think I have a little bit of arrested development from that incident. I just I'm obsessed with it. Just obsessed. Paintball.
Hey, so are we. We're right there with you.
Have you guys ever seen that movie Major League? The coach, he gets hospitalized, and they send him to the hospital room. And then, big play happens, and he's just like freaking out in the hospital room, and everyone's trying to get him to calm down. It's like, that's basically me when it comes to paintball. So,
well, I'm glad you're okay, man. That sounds like you went through quite the experience there, and thankfully you had good support, and you had this amazing game, that you could go out there and keep having fun with.
Yeah, it certainly was a life-changing moment, but what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And it sent me down this path of just being obsessed about paintball. I truly believe that. From there, I just never stopped playing. Just every Sunday, just like religion, just like I call it church. I play every Sunday. Played. I think my first national tournament wasn't until 2003 or 2004 at a PSP event. And
damn, you've been in the game for a minute then. Okay.
Oh yeah, I've been in the lower ranks for a long time. I've been humbled for a long time. But I play like D2. I play D2 NXL X Ball. I think that was the same. Yeah, that was 04. That was the first year NXL was around, I believe. And I played D2 X Ball, and we didn't do very well. And I think we only played like Chicago and World Cup. And then 05, same thing. And then I believe that's when like 7-man became popular. So I started playing some 7-man as well. And then eventually I started playing all 7-man. That went on for several years, from like 06 to like 09. Then I had to go back to school and get my master's degree. I won a D4 MSXL title, a D3 MSXL title. I've won the only D2 MSXL and the only Open MSXL. So right now, I'm like the reigning champ of the MSXL.
Shout
The
out.
people's champ. There we
Dude,
go.
And you got your master's degree. That's tremendous,
awesome.
man. Congratulations on that. Wow.
Yeah. My ego just wouldn't let it go. You know, I barely graduated high school, did community college, transferred to the main campus at Miami University. And I have to say of Ohio because everyone gets so freaking confused for some reason. And I did 2 years there. And then I was married at the time. She was going back for her master's. And I was like, well, that's going to be like a lot of downtime around the house. So I might as well go back and get mine too. So I went back and got my master's in business administration. And during that time, that's when I started focusing on the regional things because I just couldn't quite commit to the national things. After that, I played for Tittman Effect, had a resurgence. And I played for them for about a year and a half that team was around.
What year was that?
It's like 2012, 2013.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah, something around there.
Those guys were our rivals in D3 back in 2005. Every single tournament we'd run into them on Sunday.
We weren't quite the original, but we did our best. We played with the crossover where you could switch from electronic mode to mechanical mode. So that was always fun. You know, your gun starts shooting too fast or something like that. Shoot like 15 BPS when she'd only be shooting 12. The ref would come over and be like, flip that thing to mechanical. Pop, 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 pop. Like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. Like, this...
Dude, legend. Yeah, the Tittmans would rip. That was actually my very first paintball gun, was a Tittman 98 when I was like 11 years old.
Never had one.
Yeah.
Man,
never had one. I went the spider route. You know, I feel like you're two kinds of people. You like are either the spider route or the Tittman guy. You're not both, right? Like,
I
that's
agree.
like iPhone and Android.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I was a Spider TL Plus. My neighbor that I won that event, that Young Guns event, he had a Model 98 is what they were called at the time. Model 98. So he had the low pressure regulator with the rear cocking cap, with compressed air going through it instead of CO2. It was like slick.
Yeah, that thing was tuned.
Weighed 50 pounds, but it was slick.
Those are tanks. Absolutely. Yeah.
After my time on Tittman Effect, I started playing for the Outlaws divisional team. I played Division II. The first NXL event was that Cleveland event in 2015. We took second place at that event. We lingered around for like another year and a half, and that team kind of just fell apart as teams sometimes do. And that's when I was recruited onto the DZ All-Stars. Those guys had won like Division 4, they won Division 3, Division 2, or they did very well in Division 2, and they were making a jump to semi-pro. And I kind of wanted the challenge of playing semi-pro. And those guys were all from the Cleveland and Pittsburgh area. So it was a bit of a hike for me. It's about a 4-hour drive for me to play with those guys. But they're to make some concessions and allow for, me to not come every weekend. Played with those, played as a DZ All-Stars and semi-pro for 2 years. The best we ever did, I believe, was like a 2-2 record. Maybe we went 3-1 on a prelim once. I'm not sure. We weren't the best semi-pro team. But our sponsorships kind of fell through, and we were actually going to cease to exist as a team. And that's when Pando just kind of stepped forward and was like, hey, man, like, I want to eventually have a pro team out of Ohio one day, and you guys are the best bet. And we struck a deal and decided, we'll try this for another year, see how it goes. And sure enough, we got 2 second places in our first year under Dye as Columbus level. And that's when we made the jump to pro in the next year. So,
There we
and
go, man.
yeah,
That's a journey, dude. That
That's a
is a
journey.
journey. And it's only just begun. I feel like, the squad, like I said earlier, with all the support and the hard work that you guys are putting in, should not be sitting in 17th and is definitely primed to be making jumps to the top of the ranks there in the pros.
I appreciate that. Hopefully, with the changes we've made and the preparation we've undergone, we'll start seeing those results at the next event.
Yes, sir. And actually, I do want to talk to you about the brackets. I have the brackets here, Group A, B, C, and D. And it looks like you guys will be playing against Marcelo out at that event. It's going to be Dynasty, Damage, NRG Elite, Bears, and LVL. So that'll be a good bracket. We have the Group B, Heat, Hurricanes, ML Kings, Ironman, and Notorious. Group C is X Factor, Infamous, Diesel, Russian Legion, and Uprising. And then finally, Group D is New York Extreme, Impact, Aftermath, Revo, and Saints. So we got some action that's going to be popping up here in the next, week and a half or so. And we're going to be getting the layout that's dropping as well. But what's your take on these brackets? What game are you looking forward to the most, and why is it the Dynasty one?
Yeah, we need to get some payback on Dynasty. We always joke, we got to slay the dragon, and so far, I believe we've only played you guys twice so far in our. Yeah. And in fact, I think we played you guys at our first event in Vegas in 2020 before COVID hit.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And which just blew our minds. Like we just couldn't believe it. We were starstruck. I believe we lost that game 4-8 or something like that, maybe 4-9.
I remember it was a battle though. I feel like the game
Yeah.
was really close early on too.
Yeah. I think you're right. It was back and forth, and then you guys just pulled away with it.
Yeah.
And then last time we met, it was in Chicago on Sunday in a torrential downpour. And
That's right.
Yes.
that turned into a real slugfest. We ended up in overtime, and you guys managed to squeak that one out. I remember that one. People started celebrating because you guys had a penalty at the end of regulation.
I got it.
Was that you?
That was me. Yeah. Dude, the penalty looked way worse than it was. It looked so bad. It looked so bad. But there was still 5 seconds on the clock. So, I mean, I was like, it kind of is what it is. Worst case, they're going to win the point anyway. So maybe you could get away with something, and you're not going to score a point, even if it's 3-on-5 in 3 seconds. But yeah, I remember that one. I was the last one alive, and I knew someone was coming, so I tried to leave the bunker, but it looked so bad because I did this John Wick one-handed kind of thing, and I got shot in the hip right before. And in slow motion, you realize it's not as bad as it looked, in real time. I was like, oh man, definitely penalty deserved.
Yeah, I have those moments that I think back on that I things that I've done on the field. I just what the hell?
Totally.
I just cringe.
Yeah, that was one of those moments for sure.
Yeah.
Slow motion just makes everything look worse.
Yeah.
It's
Totally.
going at so many frames per second, and it just looks like, oh, he's playing forever. What is this person doing?
Yeah. But everyone in the pit started celebrating, and I'm like, "What are you celebrating?" I was like, "They're just going to burn off the clock and get their 5 dudes back on the field." I was like, "Nothing has been gained by this." I was like, "We got an overtime point ahead of us here," and then I just remember Panda being like, "Oh," it's just the realization just washed over his face, like, "Oh shit."
Panda. Yeah, that's never too good when you get super excited and then it gets taken away from you. That's a thing in sports that you have to learn to manage, not too high, not too low. Your emotions need to kind of stay somewhere right in the middle, because it's a funny game and momentum can shift really quickly just off of emotion,
And that game, so that overtime point, that's one of those moments that haunts me. I mean, I go to the 2-4 can there on the Dorito side. Nothing special about making it out there on break. I get in there looking on the inside, shooting, and I just take one to the wrist. And it's all tournament long, I knew that people were hunting for those hopper shots, those wrist shots on the inside there. How could I allow myself to get chipped out like that at such a high pressure moment? And believe me, I'm really looking to get that one back.
Yeah, it's going to be a good event. And you guys have Damage, NRG Elite, and the Bears. Damage is looking really strong. And, the league as a whole is looking really good. So it's fun playing these tournaments where so many people are really applying themselves, and you can see it. You can see it in the gameplay, the way that, the games are breaking open. They have been a little bit slower, but that shows, there's a lot of high IQ stuff going on out there on that paintball field. Maybe, things that weren't happening a year ago. But the game has progressed in such a big way in just the last year, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the slowness of the game. I have two things to say about that. One, there's 4 million huge bunkers in the middle of the field. Two, there's one weekend again, so there's still a lot of uncertainty out there. People have got
my man, dude. Why didn't we have you on sooner? My dude. Let's give this man a round of applause right here. People's champ, dude.
Let's go, Matt. Let's go, baby.
Now,
hey, go ahead.
I was just say, as a guy who's 6'1", 210, I don't mind the big bunkers, but I do understand there's that's a double-edged sword. So yeah.
Yeah, understandably. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot going on out there, and maybe some people don't know exactly what to do, so they hold up a little bit. And Marcelo talks about it all the time, that with more time on a field, you will see, higher IQ moves as well, because they've had more time to look at things and understand situations so they can read them appropriately. And before we let you go, we have a bunch of people that are stoked to have you here in the Discord. So we want to dive into some Discord questions and then kind of round out that way. Let me see, March, I don't know if you have a Discord question ready to roll. I'll open that up as well.
Yes. All right. From GG Pit Boss Nate. Shout out to the New York Wrecking Crew Pit Boss. For Matt, how do you feel the newest addition, Ian Rolfson, will do in his first tournament with Level, and what do you feel someone young like him is going to bring to the team?
Well, thank you for asking that question, Nate. Unfortunately, Ian will not see the field. I'm just joking. Man, you guys like, oh, what?
It was like, bro, no, how are you going to take my boy and then not let him play?
No,
I have been talking some smack to him now. I'm like, we'll see if you're even out there, Ian. All right, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, Ian mentioned that in the pit last week. He said that you've been talking about that. No, he'll certainly be on the field. He's playing at a very high level, and we certainly plan on utilizing him. As I said earlier, we need to add a new knife to our front line. Somebody who hasn't been scouted so much. Everybody guns for Danny. Everyone guns for Justin. We're becoming a little bit one-trick pony. Yeah, we could get more dynamic with the squad we had. We could make a speaker that gets louder with 10 levels, but we're gonna make a speaker that goes to 11 with Ian. Tyler, it seems like you understand what I'm getting at there. No, he'll definitely add some dynamic to the team, and he'll allow some diversity from both Justin and Danny. So it won't be so monotonous. We won't be so scoutable. Yeah.
I do want to ask, this isn't a Discord question, just a question personally that I meant to ask earlier. What's it been like playing with Damien? One, and two, is he still on the team? You haven't brought him up. So, okay. Are we breaking news here? Because I'm just realizing, I'm like, you're saying all these names and I don't hear Damien's name.
No, that's I was actually wondering if the Damien question would come up. Damien is a force of nature and a personality on and off the field.
Yes.
And I mean that in the absolute best way. While we've been criticized as a team of being just like a club team, I've heard that from people before, and it grinds my gears a little bit, because it's like, well, it's that club mentality, that club team mentality is what kept this team together, and it's also what helps us become a better team. Like I said, we have to punch above our weight class, and we have to take our beatings, and we have to learn to overcome some major obstacles and some personal deficiencies. But with Damien around, it's like, okay, so we're the original crew. We've got some accomplishments under our belt. This guy certainly can bring another level to what we bring to the table. Yeah.
You did the drum.
Yeah. I deserve that. We're
Damn, that's
off.
some pro level DJing right there.
Sorry. Another
off,
level.
off the field, Damon will, we'll be in the house, hanging out, talking about whatever. And then it's almost like, and I've said this about Sam Silberg in the past, where it's like a sitcom, like the Seinfeld music would play when Sam would enter the room. Or like when Damien enters the room, like just the whole like vibe changes. Like, oh shit, now what's going to happen? Like, what's the first word that's coming out of Damien's mouth? And you have no idea what it's going to be, but it's always going to be high energy and it's going to be fun. So he's definitely brought a lot of energy and hilarity to off the field. On the field, he's one of the best, no doubt. I mean, the first time he came and tried out with us, I texted Tyler shortly thereafter, and I was like, "Yeah, he'll do." Like he understood what was needed. He was Johnny on the spot. I didn't really. I'd have like a conversation about like the way I communicate. He'd be like, "Oh yeah, I totally get it." He's like willing to adapt to the way we do things, but also bring a flavor of his own. And all that being said, I think we're still getting used to him. He's like off the field, he's a wild card. On the field, he's a wild card, and we're getting used to that.
Yeah, finding the right role for him is important. He's one of those players you just kind of got to like. You make a game plan for 4 people and you put him in a spot to where if he doesn't follow a game plan or gets shot, it doesn't hurt the rest of the play. You know what I mean? That's kind of personnel. So he is still on the team. He will be there with you guys in Philly.
Absolutely.
Oh, fantastic. Cool.
Absolutely.
Good to hear. Yeah.
In fact, he's selling Rasta M3s. So anyone who's looking for a sick gun, Rasta M3s are available. Hit up Pando or Damien, and we can get one of those in your hands. They're sick.
There we go. Shout out to the Rastafari life. Let's go, Damien. Good work. And actually, that was one of the questions.
Yeah, it's a good one.
The Discord was in regards to Carl and Damien. CM Harry is wondering, Matt, which pro is a better teammate, Carl or Damien? Who taught you more?
Well, first of all, they're both fantastic people. I enjoyed playing alongside each of them. Carl is like a firecracker, man. That dude just can explode down the field. And I was playing at World Cup last year. I was shooting down the snake. For some reason, I ended up on the snake side, just some audible, because typically means something bad happened. So I go over there and I'm shooting at this dude in the snake, and suddenly Carl emerges in my field of vision, and he's got his gun up like this, and he's just like gangster gas this guy in the back. I'm like, where did he come from? So yeah, he's always swinging for the fences. And that's something like, you pick up a player, you learn their tendencies and whatnot. And you learn to deal with those tendencies, to utilize a better way to say it, to utilize those tendencies. And Carl's always swinging for a home run. I mean, the dude does not like to play any type of sit defensive zone lockdown paintball. So he needed to be utilized carefully in such a way to allow for that. His departure from the team, it came as a sad surprise to all of us. I mean, we all really liked playing with Carl. He's a great guy. I played with him in 10-man for Brimstone Smoke as well. Shout out to those guys. Yeah. That's where I really got to know Carl and really get to know his speed and capability. But at the end of the day, with the way our team is structured and the demands that are set forth on us and the level of expectations that we have from one another, we have to be there. And I know Carl wants to be there, but he just couldn't always be there. And he wasn't asked to leave. He did it on his own volition. But I wish nothing but the best for Carl.
Yeah, he's the man.
Awesome, man. Yeah,
both dudes. And Carl and Damian Ryan are both tremendous paintball players. No matter where you put them on the field, they're going to be effective out there.
Yeah, we had one practice where each of them were on the field, just an inter squad practice, and it was interesting because we were all kind of wondering. We also kind of wondered because we didn't know Damien yet, like how's this going to shake out? And it just, as paintball gets at a practice, it just turned into a cluster. So, um, yeah, we didn't get
Good stuff.
enough looks to really compare the two.
That's what it's all about, man. Having fun out there.
All right, brother. My last question from the Discord is from Tyler Stone. He wants to know, Matt, any advice for a fellow Midwesterner for staying sharp in the winter months?
Get yourself a pair of headphones you don't care to ruin. Go find yourself an Aztec. Put a target down halfway down the field. Get a case of paint. Turn on a podcast and snap. Snap, 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 snap.
Straight up. Dude, I see young Colton out there in the snow snap shooting in the winter months. Shout out to our boy Colton Dahl. Kid's got a wicked shot, dude. His fundamentals are nuts.
Yeah, all those Wrecking Crew kids have great fundamentals. They've all been playing with us on these off weekends, helping keep us sharp. Incredibly humbling to play against those kids because I wish I got that good at that speed. It took me 24 years. It took him 24 months.
Totally.
Yeah, they're kicking ass, man.
Yeah.
They really are. And,
bright future.
Working so hard. That organization works. I mean, just as hard as pro organizations. Honestly, they're clocked in.
Yeah. Hopefully one day they'll be playing alongside us. We'll see.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Calm down, dude. Calm down. We'll see. The goal is to have them move out. I've got a better answer to that question for the Midwesterners, how to stay sharp in the winter months. Move to San Diego.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's how you do it. Come to SoCal.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a way, I'm kind of bitter. My dad was in the Navy and was stationed out in San Diego, and I nearly was a California kid. Had my parents stayed there. Man, it would have saved me a lot of time rising the ranks. But I don't know. You guys have a natural ability I can only aspire to have. Again, my success is attributed to my teammates, and I was just kind of along for the ride. You guys are forces of nature out there.
You've been clocked in, and it's you had to learn from people as well, like just like we did, but we grew up in California, so it was definitely fast track just because it was like the mecca of paintball at the time. So you would see the people you'd see in like VHS videos or the magazine at the tournaments or at the park that you're playing at, and you're like, holy smokes, there they are. I can just copy that player. What are they doing? And then kind of fast track it that way. But man, I got so much love for American paintball and European paintball and paintball all over the world for people out there who have to really dig in and get gritty and go after the information and hunt it down. And just do anything that you have to do to get better. And that's exactly what you've done to be playing in the pro ranks, man. So our hats off to you for never giving up on the journey. And it's a love story too. We're in love with this paintball game too. So once that paintball bug bites you, it's really hard to shake it. And I know that we all share the love of paintball, which is what it's all about, man.
Yeah, absolutely. If it wasn't for the love of the game, I would have quit a long time ago because I've taken way too many beatings to do this if I didn't like it. I'm almost a glutton for punishment. I'm probably one of the most overshot people on the planet, being alive at the end of most points. And in fact, sorry if I'm dragging this out, but
it's all good.
If you pull up any fantastic video for the like 2000, 2015, 2016, some around there, any video that guy made, I was the opening shot. And what it was some kid, when I was playing the Division II event, I was in a 4-on-1 and this kid bunkers me and he dances around me, shooting me in the head, gets to the back line and he's still shooting me in the head. And I'm like loading a pod, like I'm like mid pod load, like in this 4-on-1. I'm like, okay. I'm just taking it. And like, just explosions all over the place. So they made that the highlight for this fantastic video. But if you watch the full video, I just kind of stepped back from my bunker, just totally covered in paint. And I just finished like loading my hopper and I just stared the kid down. Like, it's coming,
Yeah.
kid, you know?
Yeah.
And we ended up winning. I ended up taking a ton of Tylenol and coming back to win that event. So,
Nice.
Damn. There we
yeah.
go.
So, I guess I don't know. There's no moral of that story. I don't know what I don't know what I'm talking about. I've lost my train of thought.
It's
No,
okay to get
there is.
overshot.
Yeah.
Especially if you're confident you're going to come back and win. Winning is the ultimate
Yeah.
way to overshoot somebody or demoralize somebody, in my opinion.
Mhm.
But overshooting is definitely part of the game. We had some juice this last weekend at practice. We actually have Mouse. He's about to call in and give us the inside scoop on what went down between Oliver, Spica, Mouse, all them. It was look, we play a very heated game. I love when people overshoot me. I don't overshoot people unless somebody else starts it. But once somebody starts it, it's a different, it's all right. It's on. I'll tell you what, it feels really good to be the better player in that scenario because you usually prevail,
Yeah, I totally agree. At our level of the game, like it's just part of the game. Suck it up, Buttercup. Move on.
Yeah.
The important thing is just touching that buzzer. So
Yeah.
overshoot me all you want. I'm just going to come back to the next point
Yeah.
and score it, even if I only shoot you once or don't shoot you at all, hit the buzzer. Doesn't
Totally.
matter. Yeah, I actually had a conversation with Colton this weekend about overshooting because there was that SC Village episode that occurred as well. I don't know if you guys
I
saw
heard about that.
video.
Yeah, I saw it. I did.
And I told Colton, I said, there reaches a point where it's no longer about paintball, and it is a form of assault, you know. And as when you overshoot me or I overshoot you, we're both out there on the tournament field, and part of my strategy is simply I don't want you to get cleaned up in time the next time you walk out on the field. Like that's just that's part of strategies.
Yeah,
nothing personal.
totally.
And I expect to receive it back too, right?
Yeah.
But if you're playing with other players who aren't at that level or are underprivileged in some way, you got to be careful that you're not punching down, and you got to be careful on just generally who you're messing with.
Totally.
At the end of the day, they can always just get rid of that paintball gun and go to fisticuffs and whatnot. And no one wants that to happen. But you're inviting it if you're out there fragrantly just overshooting everybody. So
couldn't agree more.
Such a valid point, man. And yeah, we got to make sure we shine the best light possible on this game in all regards. Videos like that, we just it's not good for the sport. It's not a good look for paintball. Right. If stuff like that's really catching on and going viral. But man, we cannot thank you enough for taking the time out of your busy life. I know you're a busy man. To come hang out with us, and we can't wait to see you in about a week or so out there on the East Coast.
Well, I'll be seeing you in a few days.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Wasteland. I'll see you in a couple days here.
So we'll be overshooting each other more sooner than later.
Let's go.
And then you get to overshoot me in like 10 days. How excited are you?
It's my dream. This is great. But no, thank you guys. I'm very honored to be here tonight. Again, I was totally surprised. Like, is this for real? When I got the message earlier, I just left the gym. I'm like, what?
Well, you earned it, man. It's nothing's given. Yeah. You definitely earned your light, and thank you for everything that you're doing in the game and for everything that you've done with LVL, because it's a staple in the pro sports right now, and it's a shining light for others to see, like, we can take that journey as well and be successful.
Again, thank you guys. And I really enjoy your show. You guys are doing a great thing for paintball and paintball media. Keep up the good work. And hopefully we can do this again in the future.
You already know, man.
100%. Give us something to talk about. I like it.
Man.
All right, brother.
Thanks, guys.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Peace, dude. Bye. The man.
Legend, dude. Awesome. Yeah, that was fantastic.
He hit on a lot of really big points there too.
Really well spoken. And honestly, I'm such a fan of the level guys. Truly have been from day one, just because, again, blue collar ballers, they a bunch of friends that want to play together. And, they did lose one recently, but outside of that, they've all stuck together. And, I think that's been a huge key to their success as well. So.
Yep. That's right. They have a good thing going. We can't wait to see them. I'll see them in a couple days out there in Texas.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
You got a fun bracket that you'll be playing in with those guys, and Damage is the other heavy hitter that's in that bracket with you
heavy
guys
hitters.
as well.
Yeah, not going to be easy. No way.
Yeah.
Well, we got some juice to spill, so let's get this man on the line.
Yo, let's go, Mouse.
Let's get him. Do you think he's going to realize that he's live as soon as he answers? Do you think he knows by now? I should text him. You're going to be live as soon as you answer. So,
Yo.
there he is.
Yo.
Oh, he's refined, dude. Mouse is a pro now. He realizes he's live as soon as the phone hits.
That's not a question. What's going on?
What's up, dude?
How we doing?
Doing
Fantastic.
great, man. How are you
Who
doing?
did we have on?
Matt Askren from Level.
Who the fuck? No, I'm just kidding.
The Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
You just posted that over something not too long ago. Forgot. But I was like, God, of course
It
Mouse
was-
would post that.
Yeah. Of course, man.
Of course. Dude.
Dude, you're an honorary member of PTG now. We actually the G stands for Goldman in PTG. So
Let's go.
yeah, dude.
Hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah, and then the
And
T
Life
is
hasn't
for
changed
Tyler.
much, but I'll take it.
It's about to, dude. The glow up is real.
Yeah, dude.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, man. How's everything going? You've been, I'm sure, hitting the gym, getting ready. We got the layouts dropping tomorrow, or if you're listening, on Wednesday, and we're getting ready for Philly right now.
Yeah, no, life's good. Just focusing on my health. Paintball is always on my mind, and just taking care of the body, getting ready for this next event, getting ready for the layout practice. I'm excited. So feel like
Hell
I'm in
yeah.
a good headspace. This past weekend was quite an event, and was some learning lessons on and off the field. Life's good, man.
Yeah, you
Good.
look sharp though, dude. You were playing your ass off. You were
Thank
playing
you.
really well this weekend. It's fun to watch.
And if we're trading compliments here, I will say I do respect, and I said this to you on the phone the other day, how well you carry yourself as a true professional. I mean, you really stayed out of all the commotion that went on this past weekend. And, yeah, I mean, it shows how truly professional you are. And the same for you, Tyler. You do the same exact thing. I mean, you really stay out of most of the BS, whether it's at
Mhm.
practice or tournaments. I mean, you guys do a really good job of just focusing on what truly matters.
Yeah,
and that
I mean,
doesn't go unnoticed. So
well,
keep
thanks,
it up.
Mouse. And it's not easy, right? Like naturally, your blood boils. You want to get active. I mean, I almost ran through Rainey at World Cup when he like overshot me off the field. It flashed in my mind I was gonna spear through him, dude. And then I was like, nah, I'll get you later, But it's like if you have those feelings that naturally occur, and you gotta bite the tongue, you gotta resist the urge to get active, and because it's the best light that we can possibly shine for the game that we all love, and we're trying to and it's just hilarious. The whole Ronnie and Oliver thing just blew up on the internet too, and that video went crazy because what happened with Ronnie, and then Kyle and Oliver going at it. It was pretty wild,
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, there's some good things stirring up. I think it's, as long as it doesn't get too out of line, I think it's good for paintball. I mean, this is stuff the sport needs is stories, the build up, and things to add on to when these matches do end up happening. There's more to it than just someone winning and losing.
Yeah,
There's more
totally.
on the line. So
Yeah.
it's
Totally.
just, at the end of the day, man, it's sports, and you can
Yeah.
take offense or you can understand what comes with the game. And yeah, look, I'll tell you what anybody saw over the weekend. I didn't think twice about it once practice was over and I was on my way home. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, Mouse, we're adults. It's all grown men and grown
Exactly.
women playing paintball. At the pro level, I think that, like you said, it adds to a certain element of the story. We just had Matt on from LVL, and he was talking about, there's certain situations where it turns into something else, and we don't want to see that. We don't want to see actual like assault or anything crazy where people are having to go to jail. That's just a whole nother ball of wax. But if we can keep things interesting and keep it spicy and have fun and be professional about it, it only adds to the texture of what we do.
Absolutely. I mean, it can't get to a physical standpoint because that's not what the game's about.
That's right.
But the shit talking and the bonus balling, that's all part of the game. And if you are going to talk shit, you better back it up. And that's, and I like to put that pressure on myself. And that's why I try to be the loudest one out there, whether it's at practice or at the tournaments, because I truly believe I will always back up anything I say, whether it sounds like arrogance or not. I've put the time and energy in and know that I can back it up. So,
well, you said it. You said it best. It's sports, right? I mean, you think Michael Jordan wasn't out there talking shit to everybody that stepped on the court with him? The guy was letting them know where they stand. It's like,
but so was Smush Parker. He was also talking shit. That's the problem. You got to be able to back it up. Mouse said the most important
Parker.
thing.
Was that guy short?
I don't know.
It sounded like he was one of the guys under 6 feet.
Yeah, he does, huh? Oh, we should find out.
That's funny, dude.
But here's the tough thing with paintball. So I feel like most sports, I mean, NFL, they'll bring in another team as the season starts to ramp up just to get that physicality going. But you don't usually scrimmage or practice against another opponent like that just because of that stuff. So it doesn't get out of line, because it's easier to truly respect your teammates, even when you're freaking, sparring and going to war against them on the paintball field. You just know at the end of the day, that's my teammate, so
it is so weird. We're the only sport that does that. I don't know any other sport that does that. Even in fights, right. you have your team that trains you for the fight. You don't go and fight your opponent before in practice.
Yeah. So like anybody, from the outside in looking at pro paintball, and when we go to practice, dude, there's so much on the line more than just it being a practice. I mean, everyone's also practicing the mental game. What happens when I try to get in this guy's head? Does it throw his game off? How does he react? And I know a team like Dynasty's smart enough to test the psychological part of the game like that. So, it's look, like I said, and we can get into it if you want, but I definitely, and I've made mistakes before where I've, gotten out of line, and I knew better. And maybe someone could say I did that this weekend. Sometimes you need a reminder of lessons that you've once learned before. So, I'm humble enough to know that I definitely might have instigated some things over the weekend, and I'm just going to take it and run with it and just live with the consequences. I don't think things truly got out of line. I think it got to the right point of competition. I mean, that's when you see top competitors in any sport go against it, that's how it's going to get. It's going to get heated, man. It's just going to. And any time I've ever practiced Dynasty in my life, it usually goes the way it did this week. And that's just how but there's so much history between it, and just the time and energy that has been spent between both teams, and then every team that was there. That's what's on the line, is the time invested. It has nothing to do with what we're making, what's being won at the end of the day at these practices. It's the time that we've invested in this game. We want it all, man. Whether it's at practice or the tournament, we want to be able to say, I freaking played better than that team or that guy driving home at the end of the day. So,
yeah, man. And we've been in this for a long time, Mouse. So like you said, the history is deep. This runs decades. It's been going on.
Sure.
Yeah. And just so I do want to dive into what happened out there. Obviously everyone saw the video, whatever. But what I'm most curious at, were you getting shot at by someone else from the other side of the field?
Yeah.
Okay. That makes more sense then. So I totally understand why, if someone's pelting me, and I'm gonna be like, yo, what's going on here?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So I'll break down what was seen in the video. So Kyle gets in the snake, Oliver matches him. Kyle felt like he put a ball on him first. It's hard to tell in the video. Obviously, I think 9 times out of 10, that's going to be a trade at a tournament. So whatever. They end up doing the do-si-do and keep shooting each other. And then, look, at the end of the day, I know their history. They were just hanging out last week. So I know they weren't going to get to that point where it needed to be broken up. But things got a little weird once, Clint stepped involved and backing up Kyle. And as he should, that's his teammate. That's his boy. So he's going to step in for him. And Clint probably doesn't know the history like that, or And it did look crazy from the outside, like whether you were on the field or not, like they shot the shit out of each other. And then Wayne got, actually, before I get into it all, shout out to Wayne that runs AST. That guy was running around like a madman all weekend, breaking up all the madness that was happening every other point. I mean, there must have been at least close to 10 guys that got warned about a lifetime ban if they kept up their behavior. So
let's go, Wheezy.
It was absolute madness. This guy's wearing knee pads, cut off jean shorts with a backwards hat. I mean, you got to respect it. So
he's letting them know. Yeah.
It was wild. Yeah. But I got a ton of respect for that dude. He definitely helped calm down most of the situation.
Wayne's the man. He's the man.
So these guys are shooting each other. I run over just to make sure nothing happens. Now, look, I understand that people would have thought I was going to go over there and try to, make things worse, whatever, because usually I would try to instigate or whatever. But in this situation, I was just trying to make sure nothing was going to happen, actually, because there had already been some small altercations before that happened with me and Ryan, and then I think a few others doing their thing, whatever.
All people saw was just a whole lot of mouse running in. They just see a big old mouse coming on in there.
Yeah. So the things had already gotten a little spicy before this situation that everyone had seen on the video. So they're shooting each other. People start running in to break it up. Yosh is grabbing me, and I'm just kind of standing there like this. And at that point, when I got to the scene, I had already known that it was done. So I'm just kind of standing there, or just, I don't know, assessing the situation. Like, all right, we're going to just pick up our pods and go to the next point. As I'm just standing there, Urina's hiding behind a bunker across field and rips me in the back. And I told him to his face when I ran over there afterwards that he was a bitch coward. I mean, that was a complete coward move. You never shoot someone in the back like that when the game's over, And it would have been one thing if I was trying to shoot Oliver to the ground.
But I thought the game wasn't over because him and Harrison were still alive. And, weren't you alive when all that started? Like, I thought the game wasn't over was the thing.
I felt like the point was over at that point, the way things went. But it clearly shows that I wasn't playing anymore.
Yeah. Mikey.
So whatever. Well, I went over there and told him to his face what I thought about him, and he didn't do anything then. So,
what did he say? What did he say when you ran over there?
He didn't say anything. I mean, he doesn't say a whole lot.
He doesn't. Mikey's nasty, though, dude. Mikey's nasty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but this has nothing to do with paintball.
Oh, I don't mean that. I mean off the field.
Yeah. Well, we just talked about why that.
He had a chance to show it because I went right up to him and told him he's an absolute coward.
No,
and before I had a chance to say that, Mark actually went up to him, Mark Johnson, and was saying the same thing. So, and again, it's one thing if I was going over there to start shit or I was being a problem, but I mean, I'm pretty sure he could tell I wasn't doing anything over there. So,
well, the way you picked up your pods,
I did turn around and hit. I did shoot straight from the hip and gogged him up 3 or 4 times too. So
wait, what? I didn't see that part.
Yeah, as soon as I figured out where he was, once he ripped me in the back, I turned around and instantly dotted up his lens. So
a hip
he
shot?
already knows. I mean, it was a quick pull up.
Damn.
But that guy knows, dude. Every time I've bunkered him, I've put him straight to the ground. So I know he doesn't really want to truly play that game with me.
Hey, he's the most recent MVP, my guy.
Yeah. Look, your whole team is playing well together. When I isolate any of you on your roster, I'll make you guys look like a walk-on. So
I know you're not speaking to me like that.
I will speak like that to you. Honestly, none of you will do nothing.
You shouldn't.
Yeah, Mouse.
You shouldn't.
Big dog.
You shouldn't. He's trying to make himself live up to the standard. I get it.
It's not living up to any standard.
Well, that's a big dog. That's a big dog. Mouse is no joke. I definitely would love to see all that action.
They know it too, man. I was absolutely eating all weekend. So,
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean, what are we talking
and I,
about, bro? You're one of the best paintball players in the world without a doubt, and you're gonna eat no matter where you go on that paintball field. It's just what you've been doing since you were a kid, you know.
yeah.
And I'm
But
glad that everything panned out. It seems like everything was cool and that's the most important thing, right? Like it all panned out.
well, honestly, I think there was some love lost from Ryan's end. From what it sounded like, what he texted Kyle, he wasn't too happy about it. But
Texted him. They
it
live
is
in the
what it
same
is,
house.
man. Yeah,
They
I
live
know, but it
together.
was about me.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, time heals all, so I'll let him sleep on it. But
Yeah.
yeah,
It is what it
yeah,
is. I mean, what are we talking about? It's paintball. We're
yeah, it is. Yeah.
a bunch of grown men out there shooting paintball markers at each other.
It's just unfortunate that people do, things get out of line a little bit sometimes. But
Well,
like,
yeah.
Oliver, he's really a good sport about it. Me and him, one time he was running through the center and I was running out to go out towards
This
the
was
corner,
funny.
and him and I traded, and we were flipping each other off all the way off the field, and then we kind of just shake hands and laugh about it because he knows, he's on that level, he understands. So
Mhm.
it was pretty funny. I just wish everyone could see it that way.
That was what started it, though. That was before the Kyle incident. So, like,
No.
Yeah, it was 100%. It was.
No, so I'll tell you exactly what started it. It actually started with before the practice started. I was trying to say hi to Ryan and he kept walking away, and that kind of irritated me. So I was like, "Why don't you just sit on the sideline, watch, and learn something?" So
He must not have heard you.
No, he did, because first point I get shot off the break, and he says instantly, "I thought you were going to show me something." And if you know me, like, that's a terrible idea to start running your mouth when I get shot. Like that, I feel like that's just the worst time to say anything to someone as soon as they get shot. They're obviously not in the mood for it. So
Yeah. But I mean,
what
you
pisses
kind
me
of
off the
invited
most is but at the end of the day, if there wasn't so many consequences in this game to take it to a physical level, he knows I could slap him around like he's my son.
Ryan's not trying to fight anybody, though. That's not even what that at that point.
I know,
that's not
but
what it's
he
about.
talks like he does, like, have it like that. That's the irritating part. But yeah, at the end of the day, look, I made a mistake, and I talked some shit, and I could, take it back. So,
Dude,
there was.
all.
I thought like the morning and even the Oliver and Kyle thing. Okay, it happened. I was like, all right, no big deal. It was that, like, even Sunday morning stuff started happening.
Okay, so Sunday morning was more of like a revenge thing. Yeah, I was putting loaders into people first point, and I felt like it was deserved. So here's the funniest part about it. Okay, so Ryan, or I don't even know if Ryan played the pointer. He got shot early. I get out to the snake corner, so I have a perfect line of view for anyone that's on the sideline. Urena eventually gets shot. Boom, half a loader into him. See ya. And then Ryan's like saying something to somebody on the field while he's a dead player. So I'm ripping him up. He's upset. And then, damn it, I actually like Vasquez. And for some reason, I pumped him up on the D side once he was the last body. And then Ryan, as the point's ending, looked at me and said, "Oh, we're starting this?" And Yosh, the ninja he is, was hiding right behind me and sees it all go down. And he goes, "He already started it." Oh, man.
That's actually really funny. It wasn't funny in the moment, I'm sure, but that's actually such a Yosh.
Laughed.
That's such
when
a
I
Yosh
heard
thing.
his voice say that behind me, I actually laughed. Like, there was nothing I could say or do at that point. I got absolutely busted.
He actually
already
started.
No, PTG World.
Yosh is the
I
best.
felt like
dude.
that was the last of it. Yeah.
PTG World, we do not condone this behavior. At the in the pro ranks, once again, I think that it's a bunch of grown adults out there playing the game, and it is mental warfare too. We're playing a professional sport.
Absolutely.
I don't
I just have one more thing to say about it, though.
Yeah, of course.
Yep.
And Marcelo actually brought it up to me the other day on Sunday after it all went down. It was a really good point, was whether it affected me or not, all those situations with Dynasty, you're trying to, mess with my head or me talking shit. It affects my team more than anything. So that should be a lesson to all the teams out there. Whether you think you can handle that whole chaos of nonsense in paintball with the unnecessary events that don't need to happen, you got to think about in the team aspect what that does to your team. You start to lose the productivity of the practice and the progress of learning. So,
absolutely.
And that's exactly what happened. My team started to focus on trying to calm me down and not figuring out the solutions of people playing better on my roster and improving throughout the weekend. So that was the unfortunate thing. And I actually wanted to put a public apology to my team and Mark for wasting some time over the weekend.
There's a fine line of trying to set the tone of like, we're not going to take any shit from anybody and we're all going to have each other's backs. There's a fine line between that and, not taking it too far and keeping it professional and making sure that ultimately nothing gets in the way of the goal, which is learning how to win together. So it's a delicate balance there. And I think that's, the pendulum just swung a little too far one way, and that happens. It is what it is. Sports. I mean, I've seen way worse at the field. I didn't think it was all that bad.
Oh, yeah.
I also didn't see everything because I intentionally just tried to stay far away from all of it. We'd play a point, grab my pods off the field, trying to get ready for the next one, talking to some of the newer guys, young Ben that was out there trying to talk about, what we're going to do at the next point. And then I'd be sitting there talking to Hinman, and all of a sudden something would be happening. I'm like, oh, all right, the kids are at it again.
Yeah, I think it wasn't so much that it got out of line. I think it was just like, come on, this is getting old at this point.
Yes.
How many times am I personally going to get into it with Dynasty?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're having fun out there, Mouse. You're having fun, dude.
I do.
It is fun.
Yeah, I do appreciate that kind of stuff, though, actually, because it brings more competition to practices, and I like that. Again, there's a fine line, as there is with everything. There's a balance. There's a line that you don't want to cross, but you got to get right up close to it. And sometimes when you're trying to get as close to the line as possible intentionally, you're going to cross it every so often. You just are. The important thing is to learn from that and be like, well, there's the line. I see it now. I see it a little more clearly. So next time it's easier to stop at that line rather than going, beyond the line. And it wasn't just you either. There was tons of players this weekend that
For sure.
kind of lost that line, got a little blurry.
I actually looked at that kid that you brought out at one point after some of the madness that just happened. And I'm just wondering, like, what does he think of all this?
Oh, he's fine, dude. That kid's tough. He gets it.
Okay,
Yeah,
because he looked like a little surprised about all the stuff going down.
He might have been a little surprised at these are people he looks up to. So maybe in that sense, I don't know, but I don't know. The kid's also pretty damn stoic. He's seen quite a few things. He impresses me all the time. I've actually learned quite a bit from him, which is crazy to say. It's a cool thing that you can learn things from players of all divisions, of all ages. You just have to be receptive to it. But yeah, there's been a lot of stuff that I've learned from him over the years of coaching him that I'm like, damn, I want to take this and kind of add this to my persona, my game. So no, I think he was fine. I think he dealt with it just fine. We were actually kind of laughing about it on the ride home too, of some of the stuff.
That's funny.
Yeah, totally. So
he's Tyler, did your guys' team practice?
Just individually. So we're all individually practicing,
shit.
and then
you guys
we're
are
slacking. We're ranked number 2 in the league, and this is the same thing we've been doing the entire time. So we're gonna be getting together.
Who's in that number 1 spot?
That would be you,
Mr.
Shit. Marcelo. Yeah, congrats.
Bunch of assholes in blue.
The bitches in blue.
Yeah. So yeah, we're getting together tomorrow. We're all flying out, and we'll be getting together and practicing for, I think like 10 days straight or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. And Mouse, you guys don't do that on Diesel, right? You guys aren't flying to the location and staying through. Yeah.
No. Well, actually, just to give you the update, we're going to New Orleans this weekend to play the Hurricane.
Hey,
if you guys know, I mean, you've seen it. We've struggled against the slower, more disciplined, zoned up teams.
Right.
So why not go and practice that pace?
100%. Yeah.
And that's what we
Dang.
tried to focus on this weekend too. So
Hell yeah. Oh, you're going to Wheezyville. You love New Orleans.
yeah. Shout out to
the
Crunchy.
Lou. Shout out to Crunchy.
Let's go.
Oh man,
That's dope.
I'm actually not looking forward to it though, because I saw the weather. It's supposed to be in the 90s with clouds.
That's actually perfect, dude. I wish it was going to be like that this weekend where we were practicing, because it prepares you for Philly. Philly's going to be hot as hell.
That's true.
It's going to be hot as hell, dude.
Yeah, it's that humidity, man.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm like super bummed. I was looking at the weather. It looks like it could literally be like 95 degrees and humid in Philly while we're there.
There we go.
Sorry, where are you guys practicing? Where are you guys
Tyler or us?
Well, both of you guys.
Sacramento will be with Impact.
Okay. Yeah.
My weather's going to be similar to yours, Mouse, because we're going to be in Texas by Houston, and it's looking like 90. It was like 94 degrees with rain. I was like, what? 94 with rain? Yeah. So we'll see what it's looking like.
Wow.
Yeah. I think that's a benefit to be able to practice in that. It's miserable, but it prepares you a little bit. For me personally, when we fly from West Coast to like Florida is sometimes really bad. Sometimes in the past, Chicago's been really bad. That Thursday practice is like really difficult, but then you're acclimated, and then Friday's not nearly as difficult. Like there's just no amount of training you could really do for the humidity. It's the humidity that is brutal. So
no, that's a fact.
Yeah.
If you remember one Florida when I was on Impact, we won that one where it was super hot that weekend. I felt like we're the most prepared because we had went out the weekend before and practiced damage.
Totally.
Obviously down the street from that damn tournament. So yeah,
makes a difference for sure.
It definitely helped. Yeah.
Yeah. What does the event prep look for you? Like, Mouse, you're working out, obviously, probably watching film. What is that event prep looking like for you going into Philly?
So compared to just off weekends where I have that time to myself, and then there's those 2 weekends of training and then the tournament, you definitely peel back the intensity of the workout and focus more on the recovery with the cold plunges, the hydration, the stretching, the active movement. But I mean, you still get that strain in of the push and pull with the resistance of weight lift, but it's not nearly as intense. But you do want to get that sweat and that blood flow going. Sorry. Yeah, you just and I'm just trying to keep a good headspace and keep my mind on the game. You got, and this is where like problems have occurred for me in the past with my relationships. Is you almost got to be super selfish because of what is on the line coming up in these next couple of weeks. I mean, like any social events, no, that's not happening. A lot of like family, I'll call them, but I can't see you in these next few weeks because my mind's got to totally be locked in on this game. I mean, there's a lot of sacrifices that definitely come into play when these tournaments are coming up.
Real quick. Do you think that's because of the layout release? Like, is that what a lot of the thinking and preparation goes into? Do you think it'd be the same if it was blind layouts?
No, I just think it's getting real near to competition, and there's just a certain mode that you got to certainly tap into when that event's coming up. I mean, there's just a lot more energy that's invested compared to like an off weekend training or even just a non-layout weekend training. I mean, you just got to be totally engaged once you're gearing up for these practices and these tournaments.
Totally.
Because, dude, at the end of the day, you guys know, well, Marcel hasn't felt it in a while, but you go home after an event and you didn't win, and all that preparation leading into those events is like a story for every tournament. And when you fall short every time, it's so aggravating because you just know the sweat and the energy you put into it. And at what point, like what bar do you need to keep setting and reaching so you do change that result to a first place,
Felt it for a long time, man. I definitely know the feeling. We all of us here do. Any athlete, I think, knows the feeling. You don't not get the feeling. Period.
Right.
Yeah, you
So
gotta be
I'd
hungry.
rather be selfish in these next few weeks
Yeah.
and try to gain something that I'm working towards every tournament. And then, getting back to giving my family the time they deserve from me, and the attention to my friends and loved ones.
Totally, dude.
And everybody who supports you on your journey that is really riding with you is going to be okay with that,
They understand. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's right. Yeah. And it's so important, man.
Even today, I got people texting me. I'm not responding because my mind's already, I'm visualizing right now. Like, obviously I have to take a lot more steps than you guys have this year, trying to get into that top 4, top 2, first place, whatever. So I'm right now envisioning starting off the right path for this team for this next event, beating every team in the prelims, making Sunday, beating everybody in our path on Sunday, going all the way to first place. And I just know that it's more work than we can even imagine right now, because a lot of those guys on my team haven't even been there yet. So I'm just trying to truly set the example and show them what it truly takes.
Yeah, and your teammates are going to listen to this, and they're going to be driven as well. And it's all about having that collective with a one-minded goal. Everybody working together like one mind, And if everybody's working that hard, man, there's no way that you're not going to get production out of that. If everyone is flipping the switch in their mind and turning that switch over and not replying to the messages, doing the extra work at the gym, going for that jog, doing the work at the field, thinking about the game, watching film, really diving in. When players do that, you're going to see great things happen. So just you being a catalyst for that, for your team, is a major step in the right direction. And without a doubt, you guys have way too much talent on that team to not be, climbing the ranks and being in those big fights, those finals games. So, it's only a matter of time before we see you guys doing what we know you're capable of, which is being at the top.
Thank you, Tyler.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree, dude. And it's just them realizing it too. Like Clint Johnson, Ice, Nico. I mean, I can list the whole roster, but those guys specifically, I think they don't even understand their true potential. Like, these kids, they could be on these top elite teams, or they can make the team we're on an elite team. They'd have to play with that confidence first and foremost, though, because there's no lack of energy or effort from these guys. These have been the hardest practices I've had in so long. I mean, Marcelo saw it, and shout out to him, actually. He was the first one there Saturday and Sunday for his team, waiting for hours for Dynasty to show up. But he saw us already geared up, running points with Ironman Aftermath, and we were the first team there both days, warming up, talking about what went right and wrong. And that's, those are the steps you have to take first before you start to see progression. And so I know we're headed in the right space, but time will tell.
That's it, dude.
Yeah, it's about being consistent with that work, for sure. That's the formula's right. And, often people give up on it before they actually see the fruits of their labor. That's what happens more times than not. And yeah, this weekend, the Dynasty guys, non-layout weekend, kind of on cruise control for sure.
Oh, it's most weekends.
It's like a 9:00 start time, or arrival time is early for them. Look, it's tough. I mean, I don't agree with it. I make it well known that I don't agree with it. But when the team's winning and everyone is on the same page, it's hard to argue with. Those guys have been doing it for so long. Like, I think that's also something too. I do think that you evolve as an athlete as you get older. Your preparation is a little different, because Dynasty back in the day wasn't like that. They used to grind harder than anybody, and they put in those long days and those long weeks and those long hours. They did all the little things for decades, literally. So, I think go ahead.
So I was just going to say, you guys just know right now how to be efficient with your training.
Totally. Me personally, it's so deeply ingrained into me that I need to be there early. I need to be able to get in my shots, do my own personal drills. It's, to me, part of what makes me more confident on the field. That helps build that confidence. If If you don't need it, then I guess you could say you don't need it, but the results better speak. Otherwise, you don't know what you're talking about. I would argue that 99% of players need it. It's something that I don't know that I'll ever stop doing because I enjoy it. I truly enjoy, getting up early, being one of the first ones there, being, on the field, putting in the extra work. That stuff makes me happy. Like that's actually why I love the game. The competition part is really fun as well, but the preparation is the best part. It's like, it's what we look forward to. Mouse, I know you're the same. Tyler, I know you're the same. It's just, and who knows, maybe when we're 45 years old, maybe we'll have a difference of opinion on how we need to train as well.
Right.
Yeah. So, it is what it is. It works. And I actually think it's a good balance too. There's something to be said about not taking things too seriously at times, to lighten certain things up and make it okay to have mistakes. It's kind of how you learn, is by making these mistakes. That's been a little bit of a key to our success as well. So, it's a nice balance to have, me on one end that just wants to do everything the hard-nosed way, and them on the other end that, is a little more lighthearted about it. And don't get it twisted though. As soon as that layout drops, there's an immense amount of focus and efficiency in our preparation. You definitely hit the nail on the head. When we show up Thursday to see the field for the first time, we know exactly what we need to learn and what to look for. And we do a really good job of being efficient with that time and making sure that we really dial in and hone in. And from that point all the way until Sunday afternoon, it's nothing but business, So, there's a balance to it. And I think, it's really important to have that balance, but each team is going to be different. Like the teams that I coach, the divisional teams, they don't get that luxury. We're at the field at 6 a.m. and we are playing point after point after point, just beating ourselves into the dirt, literally 6 a.m., the Vegas team. And, you're going through different situations and it's a fundamental grind. And, there are certain pro teams where that's the formula that you need right now, and then you look at other pro teams and say, okay, maybe you guys don't quite need this. You need this, and that's kind of the beauty of the game. And that's where a good coach comes in, is recognizing what the team needs, what kind of pace the team needs. There's been times too with like my New York team. I've worked with them for almost 4 or 5 years. We had this hard-nosed approach where it's grind. And then you can feel when the team is starting to plateau or you're not getting the response that you think you should be getting. And there's been practice where I say, you know what, we're ending early. And everyone's like, what do you mean we're ending early? No, we have all these cases of paint. I'm like, no, we're done. We're going to go do something fun together. We're no longer learning, actually. We're just going through the motions. So it's time to kind of switch things up. And that had been a big turning point in the season for the team, just little things like that. So it's really important to not, think in absolutes and how you need to run an organization or even your own preparation, I guess. It's important to be really mindful. It's just like working out, Mouse, right? Like, your body tells you, whether you can keep going or not, or, what you need to work and what you don't need to work. Like after doing it for so long, you get so in tune with your body, you realize like, no, okay, today I better take another day off with this, part of my body. And it's, no different in sports, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Mouse, you know the drill, dude. We got Discord questions.
And we got them this time.
We got them. We got them, dude.
Right.
We got the Dorfster 420. Shout out to our boy. He says
we know his hobbies.
We know his hobbies for sure. He wants to know how it feels to have Dad, aka Mike Hinman, back in the pits with you again.
Well, I will never call him Dad, but dude, I think you saw it, Marcelo. That guy was outstanding this past weekend.
Yeah, agreed.
And we all know, like, once the tournament starts, there's more on the line, and he could start getting a little crazy. But I truly think I believe it when he says that he's approaching this situation different in the fact that this is Mark's team. Mark is funding every operation going on here. He just wants to be a part of it and help the team find the success that it should be having. And Mike is just, I think, the perfect candidate for what this team needs right now, especially for the young original guys like I mentioned earlier, Clint, Ice, Nico, BJ. these are the kids that really need, not kids, they're older, but the guys
BJ's like
that
38. He just looks young. He's super athletic.
Yeah. Yeah. They need to just really listen to what Mike has to say, whether he gives off a threatening tone or not in his delivery. Mike's got the right things to say. He's super accurate, especially, this past weekend. One thing I noticed and respected after this weekend that I think a lot of coaches slip on in the pro league, this motherfucker watched every point, laser focused, and didn't miss one thing, whether a guy did something great to change the game and help us win the point, or a guy dropped the ball and completely, put us in a situation to lose the point.
Absolutely.
And he called every spade the way it needed to and was completely accurate. And Mike's such a wise guy, like how he articulates the lesson and what he's trying to say. I mean, this guy is like truly a poet in the way he uses quotes and compares things. He gets you to truly understand. And aside from that, he's the first one to fucking scream and cheer for you when you go and make a big move.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's like something that Kyle Spica has been missing, is somebody in his corner cheering him on, because that's a guy that's been in the top ranks and has been an elite player, but in the recent years just hasn't shown that consistency and hasn't shown the confidence of an elite player. And all he ever really needs is that boost from either a teammate, the whole team, or the coach, somebody on his side, so he can truly trust what they have to say when they're giving him positive feedback. And Mike was the perfect candidate for Kyle on that. And that's why Kyle got MVP this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kyle
played
great.
He played great, man. It was some confident ball that I haven't seen Kyle play in a long time. And I hope he really keeps that up. But as far as the team as a whole, yeah, I think we're truly headed in the right direction. And there's no guarantee on what result we get in this next one. We can go another 1-3, or we can actually make a Sunday and start showing the progress that we should have in the first two events. But I think that it's only up from here for us. I truly do. I feel it. There's a feeling to it. It's almost tangible. I really truly feel it. And I've been on successful teams. I know where we're headed here.
Hey, Mouse, I remember last time we spoke. Sorry, go ahead. I want you to finish what you're saying.
Well, I just wanted to say all of the praise I'm giving to Mike. I keep leaving Greg Pauly out of the picture here. Even when I gave the announcement in the last episode that Mike was going to coach, Greg Pauly, and Marcelo's got the same history with this guy. He was one of our first X-ball coaches when we were 15. I mean, this guy's got the same amount of paintball knowledge as any other top coach.
Yeah.
The thing with Pauly is, and I would hope that he would admit it, is sometimes he does freeze up in those in-game moments. And that's just something you can't have from your coach when you're looking for direction on how to adjust in the in-game time. And Mike's a confident guy, and he's going to give you the X and O, whether he thinks it's right or wrong. He's going to say it with confidence. So it's going to give you confidence when you go and try to go display that game plan. And I think right now that's truly what we need to make the turnaround. But yeah, I just wanted to say that about Pauly, that he's a phenomenal coach and person. And I think he is going to continue to stick around and help within the pit and keep us organized. And we also have Joe, who writes on the writes on the board the lines and the play, and just reassures what Mike's kind of saying there as things are going on in the pit. So right now, I think we have a good little operation. And I'm not sure if we also have a guy, Josh, who's been helping us with the scouting report this year. I'm not sure if he's going to stick around. It would be great if he does. I hope he does, because scouting is a big part of the strategy in this game. So
Yeah, you gotta have a coalition of people that are working together. You know.
Yeah, I wanted to get that out there because I realized in these last episodes I haven't been like giving the shout outs that people deserve here. So,
dude, Paulie's a legend, absolute legend. And I know last time we spoke, Mouse, you were talking about how, Spica was really enjoying the coaching aspect. He's been coaching in the WCPPL and was possibly playing with the idea of helping coach with the team. And I'm really happy to hear that he's stunting out there on the field. I want to see Kyle playing paintball for many years to come. And then, I know that to round out his career, whenever that time comes, he'll be a phenomenal coach. But I just know the kid has so much more left in the gas tank. So it really makes me happy to hear that he's running alongside everybody on the field and isn't, in the pits, and I know he would do a tremendous job in the pits helping in that way, but I just want to see him out there playing paintball, man.
It's funny too because, and I'm not throwing him under the bus because he had a very transparent talk with Hinman going into the weekend. And he'll admit it, he was truly against the idea of Hinman coaching because of some of the things they've had disagreements with in the past. Mm-hmm. Kyle was super skeptical of the idea of Hinman coaching, and plus, like you said, Kyle really wanted to test his coaching abilities in the pro ranks. But that's the funniest story of the weekend was those two worked so well together, as Kyle as a player and Hinman as a coach, and Kyle getting MVP over the weekend and Hinman really helping him bring that dog out of him over the weekend. It's funny how things work out when you are unsure of something. You still can have a positive outlook on it and see it out, and there still could be a lot of positive to take away from it. So at the end of the day, like most things, it really does come down to the mindset that you prep going into it.
Mm-hmm. And they're both, they've known each other for so long. They're, every day we're new people, and I know that Hinman and Kyle have learned a tremendous amount since the last time they worked together. So, I don't see any reason why that wouldn't be a great fit. They have a lot of history, a lot of chemistry together. And isn't Aftermath the team that Kyle drove across the country to play for? If I'm not. Yeah. So,
he was just driving across country to seek out his journey to go pro. But his initial move was for Aftermath. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. And speaking of, Kyle, Tiger Wear, you guys have been crushing it with everything you're doing with the brand. And I know you guys have had some fun new stuff you've been dropping. I don't know if you want to talk about that at all.
Yeah, yesterday we had some pretty big drops. Actually, we have a long sleeve design that we came out with a super high quality material t-shirt, and then a regular t-shirt as well that we're selling online. And these are some products that we had available at the booth at some of these events, but we had yet to put them online for sale. But now they are available. And then now we just restocked on the gloves. A lot of people have been asking about the gloves. Nice. And we finally restocked those. So, and then we got the new design hats. They called the Standard. Really dope design. And dude, it was pretty impressive. So Kyle stayed at my house after the practice over the weekend, and I got to watch firsthand how he operates behind the laptop. And man, this guy really zones in and goes to work. He does most of the logistics and behind the scenes work for the brand, and our secret weapon, our other business partner. He does a lot of the work as well. To be honest, I'm just like the MJ of the brand, but I'm slowly learning as I go. Yeah, I do most of the social media and the reels that everybody sees on our Instagram. So, it's been a cool journey so far, but I got a lot to learn if I'm going to get up to Kyle or our other business partners' caliber. That's for damn sure.
Well, hey, man, half the battle's being in the arena. You're in the arena and you're learning.
That is true.
Yeah, you're figuring it out.
Yeah, speaking of Kyle, another question from the Discord. Nicholas H. Mouse,
Yeah.
can you beat Spica in a one-on-one?
I think you two know that answer.
I'm asking you.
Well, damn. What am I truly? Even if I was questioning my abilities, I would never get on some platform and say, "No, Kyle's got me. Marcelo's got me beat. Tyler's got me beat." I absolutely every day, 24/7. I'm going to bet on myself.
Let's go.
So please, let's get some better brain busters in here.
You heard that, Nicholas H.
tired of it, man.
Better ask about it.
And did we answer Blazer 420's question?
Oh yeah, we got that one.
Yeah.
We definitely got.
Oh, dude,
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was the Hinman question.
Yeah.
You hammered that. Actually,
Dylan Boyum asked a similar question in here.
Mhm.
You know, how do you think adding Hinman to the staff has changed the attitude of the squad, and what are the expectations? But you answered all that in the.
Yeah.
Yeah,
shout out
and
to
Yeah, I just think he brings the right amount right now of intensity
Yeah.
that the team needs, right?
Yeah.
He brings an energy that, like, he's trying to bring out of these players a certain, like, FU attitude that I don't think these guys realize that they're capable of having. And,
Totally.
you know, Hinman likes to see his players play with that attitude and that discipline that he likes to call, you know, gumption. So,
Totally. Gumption,
I
baby.
think in time, he, and not to overstep Mark, he's trying to redefine the identity of Diesel
Totally.
in the right light. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said previously, I think we're only headed right now, currently in the right direction. So we'll see.
And thank you, Dylan Boyum in the Discord. We're gonna miss seeing him on the pro field. It just was announced that he's parted ways with Ironman. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Did you guys get the story on that? What happened? Because I didn't even think he had a bad weekend.
Yeah, I don't know. Man, I think Dylan's a good player. I think he was a good fit.
You
for
should have
them,
had him
so.
on for a few minutes at least to get his story.
Yeah, I don't know that he's totally ready for that because he did text me yesterday about it before he released it. So we would like to get him on here, and if he wants to talk about it, he can. But yeah, I mean, I thought he was
the
a good
weird
fit
one
for
to that.
Yeah.
Is what's now the situation with his brother.
Totally. Yeah, his brother's still on the team, I guess.
Yeah.
Wow, man. Yeah, I saw that post and I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. We'll try to circle back and hopefully have him on so he can share exactly what's going on from within there. And we got Young Lettuce in the Discord. Shout out to everybody who's in the chat rooms. All right, this thing is
shout out
popping
to
off
these account names, man.
Young Lettuce.
Like an Xbox party.
Yeah, it is. And actually, it's free. You know, if anybody wants to check it out, 7 days free trial. You can come in, see what we're doing in here, hang out. Just go to ptgpaintball.com and click that orange
there
link.
You go. Keep plugging it.
You already know how it goes. That way you can see and even ask Mouse questions. We're going to have Moments with Mouse. It's going to be a segment that we're going to be running for, quite some time.
I like it.
So
I think we should put Mr. on that. Moments with Mr. Mouse.
There we go. Moments with Mr. Mouse.
We just need a picture of you in a suit with a little bow tie.
In a suit. Yeah. I get the Disney Mouse ears.
Young Lettuce is like, at this point, I think PTG should just give you a full-time position as the third host. I think it's happening,
Dude, I'm waiting for my shares, man. We'll get the contract written up.
Let's go, baby.
I'll see about it.
Let's do it.
Hey, regardless, man.
Get the applause.
We just we love having you here, Mouse. We love the fact that you're all in paintball. We love what you're doing with your brand. And obviously as a player. So we salute you, bro. Always.
My last question from the Discord is from Rounder. Shout out to the homie Jordan, one of the newly inducted OG GOATs. Mouse, what's a day of drills look like for you? What do you work on, and how long are you at the field?
Yeah. So yeah, you talk about efficiency for Dynasty and their approach and their prep in practice. I'm the same way for myself when I go out on my own. I'm only spending about 4 hours at a field. I'll take a case. But the difference is, okay, so when you're at a team practice, right, you're spending a lot of off time just as much as you're on the field with the breaks in between points, and then you're taking actual breaks after a few sets, whatever, right? When you're on your own, it's hard to kind of pace taking a break because it's like, okay, I'm sitting around. What the fuck am I doing here? You kind of just are obligated to just get after it. So the intensity is like 10 times higher than a team practice. So when, the time spent there is a lot shorter, but the productivity is still much higher. So, I still think you're getting more out of it. But as far as what I actually do, I like to truly focus. And I think this has been a game changer for me in the last 3-4 years is my one balling. Because if you can get that first ball deadly accurate, the rest is easy, right? Once you're able to just burst it, then it kind of all follows. And I also like to train my mind. Most people, like when they're shooting targets, they stay focused on that shot until they hit it. I tend to just move on from it, even on a hit or miss, because in paintball, you don't hit every shot, or else you'd be coming home with the victory every day. So I also train my mind to move on and be okay with missing as well. But what I've noticed too in my training, my missing gets a lot more accurate for whatever sense that makes, if you guys know what I'm talking about.
Totally.
My ball is just grazing those targets even when I miss, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's all productive for me out there. And like the intensity I was talking about, it's always super high. So I'm trying to train with a certain amount of exhaustion, because you guys know when you're in those Sunday games or just those games that get drawn out where it's like a 4-4, this is the game breaking moment. Yep. Both teams are exhausted. Who's going to make that game changing move or the right decision under that exhaustion? Because that's when players tend to make mistakes, because they get lazy because they're tired. But if you can train that discipline all the way through with that exhaustion, it will help you decrease those errors in a match.
Totally.
Yeah.
Fuck, I sound like I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, straight
you
up.
Sound
Dog.
like you need to. Sounds like some people need to pay you to train them.
Yeah, I think so. Where's the money, man?
Where's the money, man?
Show me the money.
Man, you hit it right on the head there, Mouse. Because with that first ball, or just that precision accuracy with the first couple, if you don't hit them, you're putting them in, and then you can go anyway, right? So just having it all right there is going to allow you to open up those chambers. And then training to be tired is huge, man. Come Sunday, you might have felt great the first 3 days, practice, the first, 2 days of the event. But Sunday, you're going to be a little bit more tired. You're going to be a little bit sore. You might have, strained a muscle or done something, and you're going to have to really grit through. So making sure that you have trained prior is fundamental. If you're not doing that, you're leaving food on the table. You're not eating it all, because on Sunday, you're going to need to have eaten that food to make it through that final match and hold that trophy. That's what it takes. So doing that training is it's imperative, man.
Totally.
Yep.
Yeah. Love that.
Ty, do you have any more questions from the Discord, or is that all she wrote?
Moments with Mr. Mouse has been epic tonight.
With Mr. Mouse. I
will say. So hold on here, because this is news to me. When are we getting this done?
It's already,
this is all a joke.
Looks like it's already been done.
Yeah.
This is it. Yeah. Moments with Mr. Mouse. Yeah. We'll make it a little more official. Make it a little more official.
Sounds good.
We'll keep having fun, and we'll see you soon, dude. We're going to see you in a little over a week. Yeah. So have fun with this weekend training, and be safe out there, dude.
And just to forewarn you guys, if I do talk some shit, you know it's out of love. So
let's go. Send it.
Bro, I'm the last person you got to tell that to.
I know. I was more for Tyler.
Send it. We've been going at each other's neck for years.
I'm going to call you out here publicly, too, because you asked for the Discord link. We sent it to you. I don't see you in there.
Hey.
No, you told me that it was okay not to be in that first one. So I just kind of waited till you told me when I should be in there again.
What? No, that was for the that was for the GOAT meeting. The link I sent you to Discord is just so you could be in the chat room.
Oh, you can hop on anytime.
Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah, it's just like a ongoing chat. You should make your name,
I'll check
like
it out.
Mouse Tigerware, just boom, blast.
Yeah,
I got you.
Branded.
Okay.
Yeah, and also before we let you go, you got to drop the info on where people can get the merch. I'm sure it's already sold out, but where can they go to get that Tigerware?
You can go to our Instagram, Tigerwear Co., just to see, our aesthetic and what we got going on with our content, the reels, the pictures that we post up. I think it's pretty cool. We got some things that nobody else is doing in paintball as far as our look and our style. And then if you want to purchase any of our products that you see or like, you can go to our website, tigerwear.co. Easy enough.
Nice. Super
yeah.
easy.
Log in. Let's go, peeps.
That's it. I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you for the time.
Dude, we
Thank you,
appreciate
brother.
you, man.
Yeah, we appreciate you, dude. You already know.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see you soon, Mousy.
Well, travel. I'll see you guys in a few weeks.
Sounds
All right.
good, brother.
See you, brother.
Be good. Talk to you
Much
soon.
love. Later.
Much love. Peace.
Moments
Yeah.
with Mr. Mouse.
Boom.
Boom, dude.
Epic.
Segment. Yeah, that Moments with Mr. Mouse. Shout out to PTG Nation. You guys have been asking for a long time. We finally convinced Almighty Mouse, dude. And I think it's fantastic. People are finally hearing from him. He just has so much great things to say, honestly.
Yes.
He gives great responses to a lot of these questions. So,
and he's going to be hopping into, straight up. He's going to be hopping into PTG World as well. So take advantage of that 7-day free trial membership. Hop in there, see what it's all about, give it a go, and have some fun. It's paintball 7 days a week, and we hope to see you in there. Marchie, I know you're going to be getting ready this weekend as well. We're all getting ready for the tournament. So safe travels. Good luck out there with practice, and can't wait to see you soon. Actually, I think we're gonna try and get a really special guest on for next week, so stay tuned for that as well.
Oh, I hope so.
I know.
T, love you, brother. I'll talk to you soon, and safe travels, all that good stuff to you as well. And yeah, brother, talk to you soon.
All right,
everybody out there, thank you.
Yes, PTG World, thank you. Peace.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, if you love the show and would like to support, please head over to ptgpaintball.com. Click the Patreon link in the upper left corner and become a member. You could actually get 7 days for free, so you could check out the Discord, see what it's all about, see what we're always talking about. If you like it, then you could become a paying supporter. You could be at the cheapest level for like $4.99 a month. Really makes sense. It's a really cool community. I promise you guys are going to love it, and we would greatly appreciate it. Also, please support the sponsors. Use code PLAYTHEGAME over at Transfuse, Lone Wolf Paintball. Check them out. HK Army. They also have an amazing promo going on for teams. Use code PLAYTHEGAME. Get your own special design. All the good stuff. You heard it in the ads at the beginning. Again, everybody, thank you guys so much out there. We really appreciate your support. Also, just a great way to support is leave a comment. Share the show, show the share. I don't know what I was trying to say there, but thank you guys so much for rocking with us. We love you guys. We appreciate you, and we will see you very soon.